Yeah, hey fellow babies, welcome to a special edition of the Pachter Factor. I'm going to do my 2019 predictions. Shane and I were just talking about this. Neither of us remembers what my predictions were last year, so I'm going to let you in on a secret. They were all right. I was perfect, and I'm sure I'll be flawless again. I don't remember anything I predicted, so we're going to run some of those. You'll see some, but if I got any wrong, I don't want to hear about it. If you're watching on Patreon, I'm sorry, on SIFTD, and you are a Patreon patron, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember to link your Twitch Prime account to your YouTube subscription so that we can get Amazon to pay us a couple bucks a month. That's really welcome. It works. It's free. If you pay for Prime, it's a benefit they give you, so use it. And if you are not a Prime member, you really should belong because it's really great. If you're not a Prime member, please remember on Twitter to follow me at Michael Pachter, follow Shane at Dinfire, follow SIFTD at SIFTD Games. Predictions. Where do I start? I am pretty sure last year I predicted that we would not get a Rockstar game announcement this year, and I'm pretty sure we did not. The year is almost over, and we already knew about Red Dead. They didn't announce anything for next year. Nothing's coming next year. So let me just kind of go on my Rockstar rant here. Rockstar's pretty good about announcing games at least a year ahead of time. I cannot remember an instance where Rockstar announced a game that came out less than a year after the announcement, with the one exception, GTA 5 on next-gen consoles. But let's be real, when GTA 5 was announced in November of 2011 and it came out in September of 2013, we thought in 11 it was absolutely on current gen consoles, on Xbox 360 and PS3. And we also assumed that it would eventually be on next gen. When it was delayed until 6 weeks before the next gen consoles launched, it was pretty obvious they were going to make it on next gen later. And it was pretty obvious it would be a year later. They were sly and they held that announcement to E3, but nobody was really surprised. So that's the one time. Other than that, they announced a year in advance. So my prediction, no Rockstar game next year. Not happening. There will not be one in 2019. But they'll announce one in 2019 for 2020. So this is my double whammy. You're gonna get an announcement. Question, which one? Ooh, tough one. If I had to bet, Max Payne's the one that would be the best received. Midnight Club's the one that should be the easiest to make. LA Noire of the biggies, the hardest to make. So I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Max Payne announced in 2020, no later than November 1st of 2019. Announced no later than November 1st, 2019 for launch no later than November 30th, 2020. So Max Payne is the game they're going to announce next year. They're going to announce one. That one I'll go out on a limb. They're going to. And it's coming. Let's keep with game predictions. BioShock sequel. That's happening. Do we get it in 19? I doubt it. Does it get announced in 19? I will put a very high probability. So BioShock sequel announced by Take-Two for 2020 launch in 2019. So mark that one down. We're getting a BioShock sequel made by who? Not by Ken Levine. So it's going to be made by another 2K studio. Don't know which one, doesn't matter, it's happening. Titanfall 3, absolutely 100% happening next year. There's no way Respawn takes more than 3 years to make Titanfall 3 after Titanfall 2.
They're making the Jedi game, though.
That's two different studios. It's Stig at one and Vince at the other. They're in the same location, but they're separate teams. There's no chance that Titanfall 3 isn't coming next year. So that one is a lock. Write it down. It is happening. I was convinced Warcraft Mobile was coming and announced at BlizzCon in 18 and coming in 19. We had asked a question on a prior episode about, do investors drive decisions? And I think in Activision's case, they do. I think in Activision's case, Bobby Kotick is aligned with investors. He wants to maximize profits. He wants good quality games that keep consumers coming back, but he doesn't care if they're perfect. So if you kind of mishmash all the investor questions I got asked about more frequent releases, is that better, more predictable? Bobby feels that way about Blizzard, which tells me Warcraft Mobile gets accelerated. So Warcraft Mobile announced next year for a 2020 launch. The lineup for Ubi next year, I'm just going to go out on a limb. There will be 4 AAA titles from Ubi next year. We know about Skull and Bones, so that one's been announced. We know there will not be an Assassin's Creed because they said so, which leaves 3 games. So let's guess on those 3 games. So the others are going to be a combination of Splinter Cell, which is the one I think is coming for sure. Probably not a Rainbow Six game. Probably, yes, a Ghost Recon game. Probably a Far Cry game, and probably a Watch Dogs game. I think that's what you're going to get. But I named all of them. It's going to be some combination of those. I think there will be 4. That's kind of the important thing. I don't think For Honor gets a sequel yet. I don't think they're ready for that. I don't think we get new IP other than Skull and Bones. So I think that's what you're going to see from Ubi. So for Nintendo, I think the big surprise is going to be the slimmed down Switch. And it's been rumored, but here's what I think they're going to do. I think Nintendo kind of blew it with the form factor on the Switch. I think that Mr. Iwata, the late Mr. Iwata, came up with this clever idea, which probably has played out, that we can have a handheld and a console in the same device, hence the name Switch. Well, by doing it that way, and it's worked, they've driven up the cost of production. So the docking station costs money, the power supply costs money, the Joy-Cons, the way they're configured, costs money. Imagine if you took the same exact device and you just put the Joy-Cons built into the assembly so that they're not even bolted on, they're molded into the thing. It looks an awful lot like a Game Boy or the original Game Boy Advance. It plays like the Game Boy, but you've got the giant screen. It does everything that the Switch does, except it doesn't dock, it doesn't play on your TV, it's a handheld, and it's $200. You may get an announcement in March, and it launches at E3. The software will be the same, it'll play great. I think their sales will go to 20 million at the 200 price point, and so I think they can get their mojo back. So mark that one down, they're gonna do that. Streaming, subscriptions, different things. Some company, and it won't be one of the publishers, is going to come up with a new service. Think iTunes, not Spotify. A service where you can buy games and play them on a different device other than a game console. If I had to bet, Amazon. And it's possible it could be Apple, it's possible it's Microsoft, it's possible it's Google, but there's going to be a way to play a game on a device. The device might be an Echo Show, it might be a Google Home, might be an Apple TV, might be an Xbox Scarlet, whatever that new thing's going to be called. But you're going to be able to play a game without buying a console, a dedicated console. And the game may be downloaded, it may be streamed, I'm not sure. Google's kind of previewed this with their Project Stream. Microsoft's got Project X. We know streaming's coming. I think you get a formal announcement. You're going to be able to buy games a la carte through one of those services. That is a 2019 event. Sony's skipping E3, so it would really shock me if they announced a new console next year. I know that they've used other events like a standalone PlayStation event to announce stuff, but I expect that the PS5 announcement comes in 2024, 2020. I think the Xbox 2, whatever they call it, comes in 2024, 2020. Sony announced like PSVR like a February event or something. So, you know, it's possible they don't wait till E3. Interestingly, I was speaking to Activision recently, and it was after the Diablo 4/Diablo Immortal announcements that, you know, Activision said, we probably make a mistake by overhyping E3 announcements and BlizzCon announcements, and we set expectations too high. I was asked a question on a recent episode about that. Setting expectations is an art. You know, set them right and then meet them or exceed them if people love you. Set them wrong and you're going to miss them and you're going to piss people off. So Activision said, you know, we probably shouldn't rely so much on E3 and BlizzCon for major announcements. We should just announce things when it's the right time or ready. So I think you're going to start seeing more and more of that. So again, this Nintendo thing could come, you know, in a Nintendo Direct in February. I mean, you just never know. As far as pricing, you know, the console manufacturers have really screwed up what used to be a very predictable pricing schedule, where a console would launch at $400 and then drop to $300 and then $200 and then $150. And they've screwed it up because they've decided instead to offer bundles. And so you're getting, you know, the Spider-Man bundle, and they're bundling their own software with it, or they'll do something, you know, like the Minecraft bundle on Xbox or whatever. So it's really hard now to predict pricing. But to be honest with you, PlayStation and Xbox should be under $200 every day. PS4 Pro and Xbox One X should be under $300 every day. And so those are both going to happen in 2019. I think you get the PlayStation, the everyday PS4 Slim, Xbox One S at $200, the everyday PS4 Pro, Xbox One X price, $299 for sure by Christmas. I think they have to do that. I think those price points are too high for the mass market. You've got to let people get access to consoles at $150. You're going to win over more people. Final prediction for just like a new event that I think we're going to see happen in 2019. I think you're going to see a lot more cross-platform play. Sony really surprised me by being intractable early in the year and saying, sorry, you can't play Xbox to PlayStation Fortnite, and then changing their mind 6 months later. Like, I was surprised they changed their mind. I was surprised they were stubborn, then I was surprised they changed their mind. But I think that what all the console guys recognize is this is really good for the industry to get people just engaged and involved and having fun. So I think you're going to see more cross-platform play. And then I said final. Let me do one last final. I think you're going to see conventional games that you pay for going free to play in 19. And the one that I am the most certain will be free to play before year end is Call of Duty Blackout. I think they will separate that from the core game. I think they can do that as soon as August and say, let's use Blackout as a way to advertise next year's Modern Warfare. And so we'll use Blackout as an advertising vehicle, make it free to play on PC and console. You want to play it? Just go to the Xbox store or PC and download it and play it. And you can play all that you want. And by the way, you got to sit through an ad for Call of Duty Modern Warfare as a premium for getting this thing for free. That goes free to play. My second prediction, free to play, Overwatch goes free to play. And I've had a lot of pushback on Twitter on this, like no way, no how. Mike Morhaime would have told you no way, no how. He's not there anymore. I think Bobby Kotick has 18 billionaire buddies who bought 18 Overwatch League teams, and they want a big audience. And the best way to grow your audience for Overwatch is make it free to play. So by June, by the 3-year anniversary of Overwatch, it goes free to play. And then the third one, this is a stretch because I actually don't believe this will happen, but a stretch, Grand Theft Auto Online free-to-play. I think Red Dead Online is going to have much slower traction, a much lower trajectory to profits than GTA Online did. And I think they can turn GTA Online in 2019, 6 years after the game came out, into a free-to-play phenomenon, and you will get 100 million new players who will spend 100 million a month. So I think that those guys can monetize, make a ton of dough by making it free-to-play. The reason I'm less confident in that is the Take-Two guys don't always behave in a greedy manner. They tend to behave in a very conscientious, be the friend of the gamer manner. So I'm not sure they'll do it, but I think they should. And I'm waiting for the comments back at me on Twitter about why I'm a greedy pig and I want to ruin everything. But make GTA Online free to play and give every person who bought GTA gold in their account equal to the price they paid. They know when you first popped the disc in or downloaded the game. If you paid 60 bucks, give $60 of gold into your account so you can kick the crap out of all the newbies and no one's going to complain. If you're not a Patreon patron, please remember to link your Twitch Prime account to your YouTube subscription, and that'll get Amazon to pay us a little bit every month. And if you can't do either of those, please follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. Let's get a shout out on Twitter. Let me know that I guilted you into joining, and I'll appreciate it. And follow Shane at Dinfire. Follow SIFTD at SIFTD Games.